¿Qué onda? What's going on, everyone? Sabio here for FireLane. Here with me, sitting down with international house music vocalist responsible for so many tracks that you know, that you love. Ladies and gentlemen, Anabel Englund.
Hello.
And I like all the lights. I like a nice little vibe you have going there.
Yeah, this is where I write all my songs now.
Oh man, that was one of the questions in the interview. So I'll wait for that to kind of, we'll get to that part.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to thank you so much for sitting down. Congratulations on the album that's coming out on December 11th.
Thank you.
Messing with Magic. I'm sure it has been a long time coming. I have been following your career for many, many moons, and just wanted to get your take on it. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, I never thought that this would be the way my first album would come out, because I've always understood albums as like a huge body of work that no one's really heard before. And so this album is really a lot of the singles that I've released in 2020 repackaged as an album, which I think is really smart because it also gives people the opportunity to hear me who maybe haven't been able to have the chance. But I'm so excited to just have a vibe and aesthetic that goes with Messing with Magic, and to just kind of repackage it and give it to the people, you know?
Yeah, totally. How was the writing process? I mean, were a lot of the tracks done recently or written recently, or is this just a body of work that has been kind of, something that has kind of been put into work over the last year or two?
None of the songs I wrote in quarantine, actually. So I had planned to release all this music regardless of COVID or not.
Right.
So I had my whole year already planned out music release wise. So It was actually great because before this year, I was touring heavily and not releasing as much music. And then this year, COVID happened and I stopped touring. And now I released all this music, a track a month basically. And none of it was written in COVID or in quarantine, but I have written so much in quarantine. So that's, a whole other thing.
Well, that's pretty exciting. We should be definitely excited to look at, forward to what's coming out in that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about just the history of Anabel Englund. What kind of got you into singing, writing, and just overall just entering the whole house music, industry in that regard, and not essentially venturing off, say, into like the pop world or doing what some, other artists. What makes it so compelling that brings you to like the house, dance world?
Well, what the history of Anabel Englund, I mean, that is definitely a long answer, but I started doing on a branch of Disney with ABC Family, and then anytime someone's told me you can't have this makeup or you can't wear spaghetti straps or you can't whatever, I in my soul, I have to do whatever they tell me not to do. So like I started with that, really sweet music. And then I was like, I can't do this. I can't fit into this box. It's too cookie cutter. It's too boring to me, too vanilla, it's not me. And so because I started in that, it's almost like I needed to like do everything other than that. And I was so drawn to house music so much anyway in the Hollywood scene. And I just got connected with the people I needed to get connected to. And there's this authenticity about house music that I just love. And I love the underground scene and the secretness of it all and the spice of it all, I guess, like it's not like with pop music, it's like, this is me, like I'm putting it all out there, and it's not even an authentic version of someone's self, it's just, this is what I want people to see, and it's all packaged perfectly and neatly, and like, here you go, and for the masses. And versus the underground scene, it's like, the more secretive you are, the better, and like the less you show is better. I don't know. I was just drawn to that, the mystery of the house, the underground scene. And I started releasing music. And, you know, I kind of just went on my journey there. And then I just realized that there is more to me than being mysterious. And I think for a lot of men DJs and men producers, it's a lot easier and like more comfortable for them to just kind of be behind the scenes or like seem mysterious. Whereas for me, there's so much to share with so many people, and there's so many things I feel I can help people with just from my own personal experience. And I have too much to give to hide it. So that's especially with my songwriting too. So that's why I just was like, okay, I feel like I've kind of hit the ceiling with this house music thing. Like I've played at all the top clubs of the world. I've sang with all the DJs and producers that like I would ever want to sing with, other than Black Coffee. So Black Coffee, please hit me up. So, you know, I kind of did it, and I was like, there's more to this story. Like, I need to find it. And it's scarier because right now I feel like I'm a big fish in a small pond, and I want to be the small fish in the bigger pond. You know, I want to just see what else is out there and see if I can conquer that and dominate that in some type of way and have fun with it.
You're definitely on your way, just because, there isn't, and I wish there was more, obviously there's historical female house vocalists that have paved the way in the Chicago house scene, but like as far as just like melodic and very just like dark and compelling lyrics, you kind of are paving the way, outside of, I would say, like Florence Welch, and even Hannah Reid from London Grammar is probably you're right there in the realm with them. I think one of my personal favorites, obviously. What would you say, who is your influence in that regard? Do any of those individuals influence you, or who influences you in your music?
Yeah, Florence definitely is a good comparison, I would say, just because she is so amazing. And my number one influence is Madonna, like literally with my most recent, and everyone just knows that, but with my most recent music video called For Underwater, while I was filming it, I was literally having the time of my life. And the whole time I was like, I'm so grateful for Madonna, because because of her, I know how that I can do this, or I know that, she's crossed these boundaries before, and it's okay. And I just felt her spirit with me. I know that sounds funny, but I was so grateful for her existence and like for the path that she's laid out in front of us. But the only thing I can kind of compare what I would want to do is like, how Robin is part of the dance scene, but she still is like pop crossover, but she's so authentic to herself. And it's not like she's like with the Ariana Grandes or, the Demi Lovatos, but she's so cool and fun, and she makes great music, and people know her and like her music, and she hasn't had to sell out, or she hasn't chose to sell out. The same with like Roisin Murphy. I just feel like she's super fun, super interesting, and has made a bunch of music and just kind of still does her thing. Like, I don't think I could ever end up going into that cookie cutter lane, because it's just not me. But
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Speaking of just like collaborators, for those that, you've done some amazing tracks, from London Headache to Only the Gods with Lee Foss, Brazil with Lee Foss and Eli Brown, the amazing reverse skydiving. That is something that I hammer all the time. I think I booked your Gari Safari party at the Saguaro. I play that track almost in all of my sets when I'm playing poolside, and it's just always a favorite. What would you say the energy is like going into the studio with artists, mega artists such as like Jamie Jones, Lee Foss, MK of all people? What's the vibe like?
I don't have the like star in my eyes when I work with them, because they're just my friends.
Cool.
And which is why I wanted to like go further, because I started doing house music with Lee and MK. So it's like, if that's your when Lee first introduced me to like Jamie Jones and Ali Love and Luca Cazal, because at that time when I met Lee, I was listening to like Infinity Inc., like We Are Infinity, and then Jamie, you know, is Jamie Jones. So like, when I first met them, I was so starstruck, and I was like, okay, you have to play it cool. Like, you know, like, yes, you're listening to all their music right now, but just like play it cool and just have fun and like do your thing. And so that was like when I was starstruck, but I was then on tour with all of these huge DJs, and it was fun. But I just, my grandma is an actress, and I've just grown up around like really famous people. So I feel like I haven't had that thing where it's like, if I see someone really famous, I kind of freak out and really act different, because I just know that famous people are just people. Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I met Madonna. I would be like, that's the only person where I'm like, if I meet her tonight, I'm just going to freak the fuck out and I might die. Like, I don't know what I would say. But other than that, like, there's no one.
You're like, I've been your best friend for so long and you haven't even known it, basically. So.
Yeah. Or like, do you mind adopting me? Like, I know I'm over 18, but like, I'm up for adoption. Yeah, totally. Like, I don't know.
When you step into the studio, do you just like go in there? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've already kind of come up with the body of music or like the composition, or do you sit with your producer and actually write the music according to the song, or is it the other way around?
A lot of the time we start with a loop or a few chords that we have as the bass line, and then naturally I just come up with a melody, and whatever I'm singing, like whatever it sounds like, I just start writing about it, because I feel like that's what like my higher consciousness is telling me to write about. And then I piece together, oh, it sounds like this. Well, what theme goes with what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden I have this story to write about. So it's just like, I never go into a session and I'm like, okay, what am I going to write about today? Blah, 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 because it just comes naturally.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. Does it take you some time to warm up, or are you just versed at this point where you're like essentially harmonizing something, you know, like some words, and you just get on a topic and you just kind of take it from there according to like what, you know, the melody that you came up with, or some loops, like you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so second nature at this point that I don't need to. I mean, maybe if I was going to record the vocals like for real, and that was going to be the vocals for the track, I would want to warm up. But with writing, I just trust myself enough to like know that what I'm going to make, especially if I'm with a collaborator or another songwriter, that it's going to be great. Or like if it's not the best, then we don't need to use it, and then it's just one step further to the next best song, you know?
Totally. Like, what motivates you to write these lyrics? Or is it always a different topic, or is it just, do you try to stay on a specific topic? How does that kind of come to life?
I don't try to stay on a specific topic. I get motivated by, like, I love the study of people. Like, I'm really into sociology and just the way that we are and why we are, and like the statistics of like different people in groups, and how one person's going to be like more outlandish while that makes the other person more shy, or like the balance of relationships, and all of that really fascinates me. So I think it helps me become a better songwriter, because there's so much to write about within just even one relationship. And even with one relationship with two people, it's also affecting other people outside of that relationship, you know? So like the parents of someone in a relationship, or the brother or sister of someone in that relationship, there's endless possibilities to write things about. And there's so many people on this planet who've gone through, you know, something like that, or can identify with the lyrics to some degree. So for me, what inspires me is really just like people and why we are the way we are, and like people letting other people down or people bringing other people up. And I mean, it's really just anything. And I'm just fascinated with like our human nature and what we do. It's crazy how textbook everything can be, just down to a T. Like we think that we're acting out of character or like we're acting different when really people have been here for thousands of years doing the same shit, but just like we're in different year, you know?
I tend to say that myself sometimes to people. I'm like, remember, like, we're this, like, millions of people have gone through the same shit that we're going through right now. It's just kind of packaged different. So like, don't lose hope, don't lose focus, you know, keep going forward. And that's interesting that you do kind of have those, like, you know, internal philosophies, because I kind of like, I could definitely relate to that. In regards to now, you know, in the animal world, what would you say your spirit animal is?
My spirit animal, my first thing that comes to mind is like a type of bird. I'm not sure what kind of bird, but
I'm going to say a phoenix rising from the ashes.
I love that. Okay.
So, hey, if that interview question ever comes up, you say, I'd be like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking phoenix.
Yeah.
What would you say your best song is that, or the most, you know, I mean, they're all really good. I had a chance to get a sneak peek at them. Obviously, So Hot right now is doing really well. Congratulations on hitting #1 with that and the millions of views that's gotten. Is there a specific one of the 10 that you're really excited about? Something that, I mean, I know for me, Burn It is great. It's such a beautiful ballad. If that's what I believe that's what that one would be considered eventually. What would in your eyes, what would be the best, or the one that you kind of really speaks to you that you had a really good time?
I mean, there's a few. You're right. Like Burn It, I wrote by myself. I had this woman, Erin Beck, came in to help me write the hook. But like Burn It is such a testament to like the way my dreams affect my reality, and it's about relationships I have with a past romantic relationship and also a relationship with my mom, and and also just my dreams. And so that is so personal to me, and I wrote it on the piano and recorded it myself on the piano. Float is also special to me just because of the lyrics. Float is about falling in love, and like it doesn't even need to be about falling in love with a person, but like a lot of my songs have to do with self-love too. And the hook is like, we can go to places we've never been, breathe and let it sink in. Like you don't have to be stuck here. You can go other places and just breathe and take that in for a second and know that you really can go other places and you don't need to stay here. And stay here means stay here in your anxiety and your depression, like stay here in this small town, stay here in this city. Like you can go wherever you want to go, and you have people around to support you. You just have to look for them. So that is so special to me, and I love Underwater. That's one of my faves.
That is a really good one. You actually have a video coming out for that one.
Yeah, so I just released that yesterday.
Okay. Cool.
You should watch it. It's so good.
Really? I'm gonna check it out. Is that on like just YouTube everywhere? I know I mean, that's on. Okay. Great. So just
there's a lyric. So just like there's a lyric video, but there's also like a music video. So just make sure you're watching the music video. Yeah,
I will for sure. So what's next for Anabel Englund after, during, you know, quarantine, post-quarantine? Do you have any plans in the near future? Tell everyone on FireLane, tell the world, what can we expect?
Well, I'm so ecstatic about releasing this album on December 11th. It's just one of those things that's so huge. It hasn't even sunk in yet, you know, like I know it's happening, but it's like, it hasn't hit me that it's actually happening. So there's that. And then I have just been making so much more music. Like I'm not stopping anytime soon. And I don't see me stopping anytime soon either, especially now with Zoom being like a way to record music. And, I've just been having so much fun. And, yeah, I mean, just like follow my pages and Spotify and stuff to stay in touch with my music, because I'm releasing so much. It's hard to keep up nowadays, pretty much.